They have this mandevilla on these bamboo trellises. I actually made one on my hummingbird video. So it's cool to see that they come like this sometimes from the store. This is a really pretty light pink. But what I was most excited about is I have never seen this yellow variety. It's like a buttery yellow in the mandevilla. I've always seen it in red and pink and in white, but this is the first time I've seen it in this yellow. Really pretty. It's called Sunbeam. It's kind of a gloomy day out and I needed a few things from Walmart, so here I am. And they still have some summer bulbs. So if you need some bulbs, this is a good place to check out. They have quite a good variety. They have daylilies and echinacea, some hosta, even some cool dahlias left. This Playa Blanca is pretty cool. Cannas. These would make good options for containers also. If you wanted to do some summer containers and use bulbs. These lilies are really pretty. This Forever Susan. Some caladium. And those daylilies are pretty too. They're called Blackberries and Cream. And check out this canna with the dark foliage. It's called Wyoming. Really pretty. Some bleeding hearts. If you plant those bleeding heart bare roots this year, you'll likely get something next year. Maybe foliage, maybe even a couple of blooms. Some ferns. These are cinnamon, Christmas, and Tennessee ostrich. They're also fully stocked with solar landscape lights. Maybe one day I can get some hardwired ones, but for now these are working really well for me. I actually have to pick up 2 more. These are the ones that I'm going to grab. They're the 2-pack. They're 20 lumens and they're a 10 feet beam distance. And these are currently $14. I like these to uplight my Japanese maples or any evergreen that I sort of want to feature and add a little glow at night. They have been working out really well for me. I also noticed that this year they have these pathway light solar lights, and they are called the Modern Pathway Light. And I like the look of them actually. They're not really like a lantern, but they almost have like a downlighting effect where the panel is on top, the solar panel, and then they illuminate, they kind of cast a glow over your walkway. So I'm considering actually getting a few of these to try out because I think they're really cool. I would really like some more landscape lighting, but we haven't decided, and you know, it would take running some electrical wire. So like I said, these are a good option for now. And I prefer these newer style ones to these traditional column style landscape lights. They have quite a few of that variety as well. I came out to the garden center to see what they might have in terms of annuals and perennials too. And look how beautiful these begonias are. Gorgeous. I mean, they are $26.97, which for a hanging basket, I mean, these are unique. So I would say that they're worth it. They actually look like roses. Look at that. Beautiful. Love them. So that's probably gonna, I haven't even started going through the aisles yet, but so far that's my pick for annual baskets from here. They have lots of Calicabrochia too. And I might be saying that wrong, but in case I am, here's the tag. They're like a more miniature version of the petunia, and they flower really well all summer long. If you deadhead these, which means just, you know, taking out the spent blooms, some of them are self-cleaning. I don't know if the Calicabrochia is, but a lot of the proven winners varieties claim to be self-cleaning, which means you don't have to go through and deadheading. But a lot of the older varieties require deadheading in order to continuously bloom. But also when they start getting kind of scraggly like this, a lot of people, you know, petunias maybe midway through the summer start getting really scraggly looking. If you give them a good cut back and a little feed of fertilizer, something like a fish emulsion or even a Miracle-Gro if you're okay with that, they will flush out beautifully and continue on for you until the first frost. This lobelia is really pretty, But let's see what this purple one is called because it's really pretty. This one is called Aloha Nanny. Yeah, that's a pretty one. And then there's this blue, which looks like a lobelia. Magadi lobelia. So these are annuals. Really vibrant shade of blue. They have some New Guinea Impatient hanging baskets. And these are $16.97. And they also have some geranium hanging baskets. Some Calicabrochia hanging baskets as well. These are also $16.97. They have some more of these beautiful begonia hanging baskets. They look like roses. Look at this. Beautiful. This is called tuberous begonia, and the foliage even looks like a house plant. Like interesting foliage and blooms. I mean, some of these need to be cleaned up, but you would just take those off and the new blooms are right behind them to take over. They also have these pink ones. These are really pretty geranium planters, and they called a combo mix. So geranium combo with spike. They're $21.97. They're a good size. I would say that it's probably 12, about 15 inches across. And so nice for a centerpiece. If you have one of those, patio set coffee tables, this might look nice in the middle. And they're really pretty red geraniums. A lot of variety in terms of the spillers for your hanging baskets or containers. So this one here it's ivy, and they're $2.97. I like this one with the yellow edges. Nice variegation. They also have these that are a vinca. Really nice. Dracaena spikes. These are the ones that go in the center of the container like we saw over there on the geranium arrangement. And so you can get them separately and make your own arrangement, and they're $2.97. When you use these Dracaena spikes as the centerpiece of your container, you want to kind of place them in the middle and your annuals out to the edges of your pot so that these guys have enough time to establish and get some sun and get themselves growing before they get engulfed by something like your petunia or whatever else you put in your container. They have some freesia. These are a perennial and they're $12.98. Look how pretty that looks with the lavender right on the side. They have this Spanish lavender called Javelin Forte. Really pretty blooms. Really healthy looking bleeding hearts. And these are $15.98 for this size container. There may be a 2-gallon. And lots of Asiatic lilies. These are red and yellow. Let's see how much they are. $19.98. And these are perennial. You can plant them in your garden and they'll come back year after year. Now, when you buy a mix like this, it's possible that in a couple of years you're not going to have both the red and the yellow, because one of them will become dominant and then you might end up with either all red or all yellow. Something that's happened to me in the past with a mix, so I figured I'd mention it. They have some really cool lavender patio trees, or lavender topiary. These are $25.98. And it looks like that same variety of that Spanish lavender. Here's what the tag looks like. These are pretty. Maybe you can keep these alive if you bring them in the winter. Here's another perennial, this Dianthus barberini, and this really pretty fuchsia pink. They look so beautiful next to the hosta. This hosta is called Wide Brim. Let's find out how much these are. They are $8.48. They also have a lot of these impatiens and these annual salvias for those who want to make their own containers. And these are $1.93 a piece. Lots of marigolds. Now, marigolds, people typically use them as like a deer and rabbit deterrent around their vegetable gardens. But if you wanted to make a container, if you liked these colors, these warm colors of the yellows and the oranges, these are a workhorse plant. These are a great annual and they will bloom for you all the way until the hard frost in the fall. And because of their colors, they would transition beautifully as a fall container. And these are $1.93. They have their version of Mandevilla, and these are called Island Blooms, and they're $5.84. They also have these annual hibiscus that are not opened yet. So, oh, there's one peeking right here. Really pretty. Another in the back there. But we're getting some 85-degree temperatures this weekend, and today is like 55 to 60, so quite a difference in temperature. So these are all going to open up with that hot heat and humidity. These are called Island Blooms, and they're $5.84. They're calling this verbena perennial, but I've never known this type of verbena to be perennial. Anyone in 6B find that these come back for you? Comment below. But they get 8 to 12 inches tall and wide. Well, I think the 8 to 12 high by 18 inches wide. Hardy to zone 9, and they need full sun 6 hours a day. It's pretty red, a little bit of a darkness to the foliage. That also looks really, really nice with the hosta. So these are $7.48, the verbena, and the hosta is $8.48. I've never seen these here before, but they're called the Colorful Companions, and they're with the Bonnie vegetable plants. And that one is called, it's a petunia of some kind. It's called Petunia Rose Morn. And they still have lots of vegetables, which I'm sure are happy to get some rain this week. And so these vegetables here, the larger ones are $7.88 and the smaller ones are $3.98. Pasta here is called Alba Marginata. Albo Marginata. We'll go with that. And it's a pretty green with a lighter edging. And this container size is $8.48. Some more of these pretty Asiatic lilies. These are red, and then they also have some orange. This red one is called a tiny ghost variety. And the orange one is called Tiny W. They have some Columbine Spring Magic. And some Armeria, which I actually just did a video on, and I can link that above. This is also known as Sea Thrift, and this variety is called Daydream. Really nice, hardy, long-blooming perennial. It likes mediocre soil, don't amend your dirt any, and it even handles dry conditions and is drought tolerant, so really good for some of those conditions. Here's some Kahori Carnation, some Dianthus. I had a border of this in my garden for a really long time, and it's very eye-catching and striking in the spring. Well, if that isn't a fun name, Chattahoochee Woodland Phlox. Really pretty color. It looks like a little bit of a flopper though. It might need some support. Or, you know, maybe you can do like a Chelsea chop on them when they start to emerge to kind of keep them more upright. They have this yarrow called Desert Eve Achillea, and it looks like a shorter variety of yellow. This salvia is also really pretty. It is called Midnight, and it almost reminds me of like the Pink Profusion salvia by Proven Winners. It's a really pretty, it's not like the traditional purple that you see, but rather this pink version. They have some Park Sun hanging baskets with annuals. It's a combination of lobelia and a little bit of Calicabrochia. They have this mandevilla on these bamboo trellises. I actually made one on my hummingbird video, so it's cool to see that they come like this sometimes from the store. This is a really pretty light pink. But what I was most excited about is I have never seen this yellow variety. It's like a buttery yellow in the mandevilla. I've always seen it in red and pink and in white, but this is the first time I've seen it in this yellow. Really pretty. It's called Sunbeam Mandevilla. In case you didn't know, Walmart also has a clearance plant section. So not just Lowe's. Home Depot is the only one that doesn't do a whole lot of clearance. But look at that thrift. You can cut this back and it would probably still do fine for you this year. Perennials always come back the next year. So if it's not too, past the point of no return, you can certainly cut this back, baby it a little bit, and for $2.34 you can have a nice perennial plant. They have some lilies out here on the clearance rack, and some wallflower, which the wallflower is also being listed as a perennial. I have the double pink knockout roses. This is a 2-gallon size, and they are $19.84. I've never seen these here before, but they have this year the peach drift rose, and these are 2-gallon, $19.84. I'm also seeing these petite knockout red roses quite a bit more this year, and they're $17.84 for this container. It looks a little bit like a 2-gallon. This is 6 quart. They have some Arborvitae Dark American, and that looks to be, well, it actually says 4.5 gallons, and it's $29.74. They have these first editions butterfly bush. This one's called Funky Fuchsia. Let's see how big it gets. Oh, it says right here. Full sun, 6 to 8 high by 6 to 8 wide, and it's a flowering shrub. Let's see how much they are. $22.88. They look nice and healthy. They already have some blooms on them. Some ferns. These are really nice for your summer containers. Let's see what kind. They're called Kimberly fern, and they are 1.5 gallons for $14.88. And they have a lot of deciduous trees, so let's go check those out. Yoshino cherry for $29.74. It looks like it's maybe a 5 gallon. These are packed in here pretty well, so I can't really pull them apart. They have some weeping willows. I absolutely love these trees. They are beautiful, but you have to give them a lot of space, and they like wet soil. The only reason I've stayed away from planting one, even though I wanted a water-loving tree, is because I'm afraid it might get too aggressive, and we have a well and a septic system. So I have to be conscious of that. Some Kusa dogwood. This is a white Kusa for $29.74. They still have some fruit trees. A Granny Smith apple. Looks nice and healthy. A red maple. Nice big foliage. These get beautiful red fall color. They also have Gala apples or Gala apples. Their apple trees look really healthy. All of these trees do actually, and the little bit of rain we've been getting certainly helps. They have some really nice full green Japanese maples for $24.94. There's also an Eastern Redbud back there for $24.94. I actually got my Eastern Redbud here at Walmart, and it's doing really well. Some Alberta spruce for $24.94. And they have some small 3-gallon containers of river birch with 2 stems or 2 trunks for $24.94. It's actually really good, and these grow fast from what I hear. Really pretty tree with interesting bark that will give it winter interest, and in fall the leaves turn golden. If you wanted to try rhododendron but you didn't want to commit to an expensive or larger plant, they have these small 1-gallon containers, really healthy looking, for $9.97. The other perk of buying a smaller plant is you don't have to dig as big of a hole, so that's always good. You just have to wait a little longer for them to get a good size. Some azalea, also in a 1-gallon container for $9.97. And another here. This is an azalea also that's in bloom. Yep. Great price on these small shrubs. Really good to gift somebody also if you need a housewarming gift. That'd be a really good idea. And here is some Nova Zembla rhododendron. I actually bought my Nova Zembla here also. Mine is not yet in bloom, but of course the ones at home are always a little bit behind because these are shipped to the stores from the nurseries and the greenhouses, so they're always a little bit further ahead than what your plants at home would be. And it's coming across a little bit red, and in fact the descriptions online say that the Nova Zembla is red, but I find it to be a really hot pink. It says it likes moist, well-draining soil, part sun 4 to 6 hours, and hardy in up to zone 4 or down to zone 4. Blooms in early summer, and it gets 5 feet tall and 36 to 48 inches wide. They also have some Easy Elegance roses this year, and these are called Cashmere, and they're a beautiful red. And these are $19.84, and they're a 2-gallon container. They look very healthy and beautiful, this foliage. This grass is really pretty, caught my eye. I love the variegated grasses. They offer so much interest. This one is $19.84. It's a Miscanthus variety. These are some dappled willow, and these make beautiful shrubs, but give them lots of space because they get really big. My neighbor has a tree and he planted it in front of a window, and every spring he's out there shaping it because it gets too big for the window. So this one is, so he has a standard variety. So it's like a tree, like a lollipop form. This one is a shrub, and you can make a hedge out of it. Likes part sun, 4 to 6 hours, consistently moist soil, and it's $16.88. Hardy down to zone 4. And all of the new foliage has this beautiful pink, like apricot variegation. Really pretty. They have this Spirea Anthony Waterer. It is just a green Spirea. Looks like it has white blooms, 6 hours of sun, 6 to 8 high, and 10 wide. Blooms mid to late spring. This azalea has a really pretty color. This one's called Gerard's Christina. It looks red, but it's actually like a really nice pink. Bunch of azalea. They also have the small Pyrus, 1 gallon for $12.84, and it has really beautiful new foliage. Look at the color on that. Let's see if we can tell what variety it is. Scarlet O'Hara. That's a popular one, I believe. Let's see what that says. It's white bell-shaped flowers, hardy to zone 5, and 6 to 8 tall and 6 wide. Really pretty. You have these really cute little giant arborvitae for $12.84. These like 6 hours plus of sun, consistently moist soil, and they get 6 tall by 6 wide. Hardy to zone 2, so really hardy. They have some common lilac, and these are getting ready to bloom. $16.88. These are 2 gallon, and they need 6 hours of sun, 8 to 20 feet tall, depending on variety, and 10 to 18 wide. Sometimes when you buy these, like it says common lilac, and depending on variety, you just have to kind of proceed with caution because you don't know how big they'll get, so you want to give them ample space. And they still have a couple of, what are these, Japanese holly? Yeah, Holly compacta. I thought they were boxwood. Holly is a good alternative for boxwood. If you don't want to do boxwood, you could always do these. This one is compacta, and they're $11.84. They still have some blueberry shrubs, and they haven't even flowered yet. So good time to get them in. This one's called Legacy, and it's $11.84. Some Emerald Gaiety Winter Creeper. These also have really pretty foliage. You can use them kind of as a ground cover. I want to keep a close eye on these because they can take things over, but they add a nice pop of color, and they're evergreen. And here is some boxwood. So they have Winter Gem, and they're $7.84. They also have this Green Mountain for $16.88. This is a larger container, 2 gallon. Nice, healthy, soft, new foliage. And some evergreen here. Bar Harbor Juniper, $7.84. It's a ground cover evergreen. Needs 6 hours of sun, moderately moist soil, 12 inches tall, 3 to 6 wide. Hardy to zone 4. They also sell these Bloom and Drop containers. These small ones are about an 8-inch, and they're $9.88. So you take these and you put them right in your pots. Some more hanging baskets. And then they have these really beautiful arrangements down the end there that I'm going to go check out. Look how beautiful these are. These are the Confetti Garden container by Better Homes and Gardens. And they're a beautiful white colored petunia with a dark petunia. And then they have like the opposite. So the white has a purple center and the purple has a bit of a white outline. And then they have these Dracaena spikes in the middle. Really beautiful. These are some really pretty pots that they have this year. I really like that terracotta one with that geometric design. The smaller ones are $14.97 and then these bigger pots are $22.87. Look how nice those are. They almost look like a concrete, like a faux concrete. But you know what the bonus is? They look like concrete, but they're light. I'm all about the lightweight pots these days. So much better for your back. Really pretty. Walmart also carries these endless summer hydrangeas. Let's see what varieties they have. So they have the Bloomstruck, which gets to be 3 to 4 high by 4 to 5 wide, hardy to zone 30. And the color of these will depend on the acidity of your soil. So it tells you right here, if you have acidic soil, they're going to land more in the purple zone. If you have alkaline soil, it's going to land more in the pink zone. And these are a, let's see, it looks to be about a 5-gallon container. They're 3-gallon. It's a 3-gallon and they're $34.74. And then they also have these smaller ones of the original Endless Summer Hydrangea. And the smaller one is $17.84. And that's what the original looks like. This one is also 3 to 5, tall and wide, and that's where the colors will get you. The more acidic soil will get you the blue, and then the alkaline will get you the pink. But Espoma sells a fertilizer that increases the acidity of your soil that you could try if you wanted to see if you could get blue blooms, you know, if your soil was more alkaline. And lots of roses. Someone mentioned in one of my videos that, you know, they hadn't seen a lot of roses. And so let's check these out real quick. So there's some pink flowering roses. This is their house brand, that Expert Gardener brand, and they're $14.97. They look to be 2-gallon. And the name on that one is Perfume Delight. They have St. Patrick. St. Patrick looks to be a yellow rose, and then this one, the Perfume Delight, looks to be pink. In the middle of the roses, they have thornless blackberries for $11.84. That's really good because blackberries can be pretty prickly. And they also have what some people call these body bag roses, the ones that come in a bag. And let's see what kind of varieties they have. So they have an Oklahoma. These are really affordable at $8.97, and I have to be honest, the foliage looks great on these, just as good as any of the ones in the containers. So let's see. So we saw the Oklahoma, Mr. Lincoln, Fragrant Plum, Opening Night. Iceberg is a very popular one. That Modern or Morden blush is pretty. CL America. So I belong to this rose group on Facebook, and some people even find things like Eden roses at places like this in these bags. So you really never know what you're going to find. Therese Bugnant, Fragrant Cloud. CL America, is that one there, and Hope for Humanity. For $8.97, these are a good buy. Belinda's Dream, an orange rose pinata, it's called. Yeah, so quite a few to choose from. They have lots of patio string lights too. So if you want to add a little ambiance to your garden space or your patio space, they have these. These are cool. They go under your railing. Oh, look. A potty on the patio. Those are $14.97. I really like these curtain lights. If you have like a pergola or, you know, even this off the side of a deck, a covered porch. Those look cool. So lots of options to add to your summer patio in terms of, you know, mood lighting. Look how cute this is. It's a hummingbird wind spinner. It's 14.8 inches in diameter. And it's $14.97. Really pretty. They have these cool harvest baskets this year. This would be good to either carry your garden tools in out in the garden so you can kind of keep everything contained in one spot, or even to just gather your vegetables. Those are $19.97. And this guy is my favorite tool in the garden. It's called a steel hoe cultivator, and I use this all the time when I'm planting something new, because this little claw part, or the rake part, is really good for getting up rocks and things in your planting hole, and this hoe part is good for breaking up the soil. So this is amazing, and this is actually where I got mine. I'm going to pick up a second one because sometimes I kind of misplace it in the garden, so it doesn't hurt to have an extra. But $4.97, and I've had this thing for probably 5 years now. If you're new at gardening and you don't want to invest a ton of money on tools, really reasonable prices. Look, $9.97 or $9.94 rather for this 3-piece set. The cultivator I just showed you. And even some pruners for $7.88. They have head shears and bypass loppers. I'm pretty sure I actually have this one. I have this head shear, and it works pretty well. I have a lot of these Fiskars pieces, which they seem to have, you know, here too. But this other brand by Walmart, the Expert Gardener, is not that bad for the price point. They're actually pretty good. So they have lots of gardening related items at Walmart. Gloves. And look at this cool set. I don't know how functional it would be, but it sure is pretty as a gift. Copper plated hand tool set. And it's on rollback. Well, it says rollback, but the price doesn't say what the rollback is. It's listed as $19.88. They also have a great selection of pots, lots of terracotta, as well as other porcelain pots. These black and white pots are really pretty. And then they have these gray ones that are nice for neutral. These basket weave ones are good because a lot of times they're unlined, but in this case these have a plastic liner, which is easier obviously to insert your soil. You would still have to poke some drain holes in there though to make sure that your plants drain. Those are $19.97. And these are real pretty. They're like a basket weave, but they're, you know, like this pottery material, like a ceramic or clay. So the larger one is $11.47 and the smaller is $8.48. It looks like the smaller is a 6-inch and the larger is an 8-inch planter. And some of these modern planters on the stands. So really pretty selection. They also have things like landscape pins and no-dig edging. The edging is $23.98 for 30 feet. A 30 by 50 roll of landscape fabric. And lots of like seed starting material and fertilizers. I use this Alaska fish fertilizer in my garden, and I actually just came from Home Depot, and here at Walmart it's $20.52 and at Home Depot it's $24 and change. So it's less money here and it works really well. This Osmocote here is what I sometimes sprinkle in my containers, my annual containers. I either use that or some plant tone. But they also have this stuff for fertilizers. Super Thrive, I know some people really like that. And they also have this Expert Gardener fertilizer type, brand that is specialized varieties. So they have the azalea, the evergreen, the rose, the flower food, even some tomato and vegetable ones, as well as organic. And the price is reasonable on those. They're about $5 a bag. Well, I came here for the milk and some extra landscape lights, and I picked up a cultivator on the way. Thanks for hanging out today, and I'll catch you in the next one.